Good morning, this is David, and as I was working on the brakes on a friend's 2006 Chevy Cobalt, I decided why not pull the starter out and put it back in, do a little demonstration video. The starter's actually good in this Cobalt, but I hope someone can make use of a little demonstration on how to take it out and put it back in. Thanks for watching. Okay, first up we're going to take off this rather large engine cover. Let's pull the oil filler cap off. Now there's a little post back here that has to be disengaged, and you can pull this right off. Remember to put the oil filler cap back on so we don't have anything fall in there. So we're going to start by disconnecting the battery. Don't be fooled by this item here. It's not the battery. It's in the trunk. Okay. So there it is in the trunk. So we'll disconnect this. And these are 10mm, by the way. So I've got is a 2x4 on that cross member. This just seems to be in the middle of a convenient jack point. It does worry me a little bit because I'm not sure how strong that tubular portion is. I think we'd redistribute the weight here, even it out. Okay, we got both wheels off the ground now. So we'll go ahead and stick some supports under there. This is what I've done for supports. It's got some wood supports right under that beam there, both sides. Okay, as you notice, these studs on the screwdriver on the starter here are extremely corroded. So I'm just going to do a demo on how to take this out. This is 8mm. I'm a little concerned that if I actually pull these, I'm going to damage a working starter. Okay, the battery plus connection. Now it's not the lower one, but the upper right here. This is 13mm. And again, I'm not gonna actually unwire this starter. Just want to point out one more thing on the B plus connection. It's the top one, remember, that you have to take off when you unwire the starter. It actually has two wires coming into it. They're using it apparently as some kind of junction point. It's still only one connection. That's 12 battery 12 volts there. And the ground on this starter is provided by the chassis, being bolted onto the chassis. Okay, the two starter bolts are 15mm. I'm going to break the lower one first. Now, as often the case, the upper one's going to be harder to get at. It's up back in here, but it should be reachable. We'll stick a ratchet, a socket, 15mm, and an extension bar through from the top, from the bottom here, and then go up top, and we should be able to seat it on the nut, on the bolt. And you can see my flashlight there. This angle right here is better. Straight ahead of the beam of the flashlight. It should be right on the bolt. So we're going to get a 15mm socket in there. Okay, let's try one more time. See if we can get a... I'll look at the starter bolt. I believe that's it right there in the middle. Okay, so I'm taking my extension bar, my 15mm. Okay, so I've got my 3/8 inch extension and a deep well socket on that upper nut. It's a bit of a job to get it there. Okay, I've got it on there. Got my ratchet on. I've got it broken loose. Pretty much a blind operation. Okay, so as if this starter wasn't already enough fun, I'm also finding now that I have both bolts backed off that it's corroded on, stuck on here. So I don't really want to beat on this too much. What I did find though is that there's a little lip. I can't get a screwdriver in there anyway. Just trying to get to this little lip right here. See if we can tap it. I sure don't want to break anything here. Okay, so I found a spot on top here where I can tap in here. Kind of right in between, if you can see where I've got that screwdriver between the solenoid and a little projection on the transmission. Okay, so it turned out this bolt, it's fairly long. It's a lower starter mounting bolt. I'm going to go back up top now and get that top one out. You have to go from way over to the left of the starter to get that out. And this is purely, again, done by feel. You can see the relative position here of my extension bar. Over to the left, way over to the left, almost up against the engine here. There's a position you have to get it in to get this bolt, this back bolt out. So I'm going to continue to turn that out and then take the starter out. Okay, so there you can see now, right over here, that we do have the bolt out. Okay, the bolt came out, the inner bolt. I'm just going to rest this starter up on here. And there's a good look at the flywheel, the mounting bolts, the connector up here that also kind of got in the way of this upper bolt to make it even more interesting. I'm going to show you something I'm going to do to improve the chances of my bolt and 50mm socket staying together during the process of doing the top bolt. I've cut a little piece. This is just a little piece of paperboard to fit along the top of the socket. Just to hold it together while I assemble it. That'll just fall out when I pull it out. So this is the rig I'm using on the way back in. I've got a 3-inch extension now. 6 is going to find to be too long. And I just want to point out, I applied some never seize here to the mating surfaces so that when the starter does fail, I'll have an absolute battle royal getting it out. Good idea to put some never seize on the threads too. Get the bottom one going here and actually get it flush before we go to work on that more difficult top bolt. Just to get the starter basically seated flush, and then we'll do the top one. And I'm not tightening this by any means, I'm just flushing it down. Once it's flush, done. So we have that just flush now, making sure of course that our top And the ratchet or extension is still in place. Okay, we have the top one started now by hand as far as I can. Now, of course, to make it even more fun, it's sitting kind of flush almost against the engine here is the extension bar. I think I can still get a ratchet in there though. We've got our ratchet in there, now it's just a matter of turning this long bolt in. Okay, so let's put our final torque on it. Good and snug. Let's see if we can get our socket back. Yeah, we got our socket back. So now we'll just torque the bottom one up and pretty much done. Okay. Okay, though GM has chosen to leave these connections completely unprotected from the weather, we're gonna put some vinyl tubing on them. Got a couple different sizes here. Yeah, first I'll put a little never seize on the threads, and then slip a piece of vinyl tubing over there to protect them. Alright, so we have some never seize on there. Now I'm gonna slip this over the stud for the solenoid. I'm gonna clip this off and give it some room so when somebody wants to pull it off, they can grab it like this and pull it off. It's on there really tight. And then we'll do the same thing up here. I just don't like leaving this exposed to the weather. I could be the guy taking this starter out again in the middle of the winter. That's almost always when they fail. Alright, there we go. They're even pointed down so that if there was some moisture buildup in there, it would drip out. Okay, so that's it for this video. Again, thanks for watching, and I hope if you have to change the starter out, this helps you. Have a good one.